Hey everybody, it's Doc, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about what Apple has decided to drop on us today, and that is the M3, the M3 Pro, and the M3 Max. Now, I know a lot of us were really excited because Apple decided to do a spooky fast event. I think the first time Apple's ever actually done an event at night, and it was 8 o'clock at night on the East Coast, sure, 5 o'clock on the West Coast, but it's an evening event. And they even apparently sent out a bunch of snacks and some AirPods Max to different YouTubers to sit down and enjoy the presentation. So that's really cool, and it got a lot of the hype up. And I was excited. And you never know what Apple's going to pull out of their sleeve, but it was just the M3 version of the Apple Silicon chip. So let's talk about the new chips. The M3, the M3 Pro, and the M3 Max. Definite huge upgrades. Interestingly enough, releasing in Q4, so I would definitely assume that there is a financial incentive to make this presentation happen today. They want sales in Q4, and historically iPad used to be the Q4 sales item, and the iPhone used to be the Q3 sales item, and also the Q4, but they used to drive in that holiday season with the iPhone and the iPad. So we'll see what happens in Q4. A lot of people say that there's really no more items that are supposed to be announced by Apple by the end of the year. So, you know, time will tell. Maybe we'll get another email drop of something to come. Who knows? What does the M3 and the M3 Pro and the M3 Max do over last year's model? I mean, we just got the M2s. They still feel new to me. I mean, I just bought my Mac Studio with an M2 Pro in it, so this is kind of a surprise. But the CPU performance cores and efficiency cores are about 30 and 50% faster than the M1 chip. And the neural engine is about 60% faster than the neural engine in the M1 family of chips. So that's a nice boost over the M1, and it's certainly an enormous boost over the Intel versions of your Macs if you still have them. Let's talk about the three chips. The M3 chip has 25 billion transistors, and that's 5 billion more than the M2 Mac. It has a 10-core GPU with architecture that's 65% faster than the M1, and they relate games like Myst, if you watch the keynote tonight, as taking pretty good advantage of those graphical improvements. The M3 Pro has 37 billion transistors with an 18-core GPU, and that is about 40% faster than the M1 Pro. The 12-core CPU has 6 performance cores and 6 efficiency cores, and that's single-threaded performance that's 30% faster than the M1 Pro. Now the M3 Max, that's the big boy. So the M3 Max has a transistor count of 92 billion and basically has a 40-core GPU. It's about 50% faster than the M1 Max and has support for 128 gigabytes of unified memory. The 16-core CPU has 12 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores, and that performance boost is boasted at 80% faster than the M1 Max. So it's interesting. They're comparing these chips to the M1 and not the M2 because they're trying to make a use case to say, hey, you should upgrade. So maybe if you have the M2, maybe you can wait to the M4. The great thing about this was the battery life. I mean, Apple has a best-in-class battery life. 22 hours. 22 hours, which is the longest battery life ever seen in a Mac. And that's just impressive. I mean, these chips are wonderful at mitigating power versus performance to stretch the battery life on these devices as long as possible. So, a black Mac, just like the one I think was in like the early 2000s, maybe 2005, 2006. That was when I started looking at Macs over PCs, and I used to get lured into the store, and I was looking at that black Mac and that white Mac, and that was a beautiful device. But space black now, so you're going to be able to get the device in the typical MacBook silver, and then the space black, no longer the space gray. Space gray doesn't even appear to be an option. And other than the M3 upgrades, you're seeing a slightly brighter display on these Macs. So that's the only other real upgrade here. Apple also decided to upgrade their iMac desktop computers, and these things are really in need of an upgrade. I believe they missed the whole M2 series and they went right from M1 to M3. So if you wanted a desktop Mac, I think now's the time to get it. It has the same colors, it has the same great display, and now you're going to get the power of an M3. Now you're not going to be able to do the M3 Pro or the M3 Max, but you'll still be able to do the M3. I hope Apple does more events like this. It was really fun to see. It was spooky fast, but it was also spooky short. But it was great because it also fit into the dark Mac color scheme on Halloween and also having it at night. So what did you guys think of the keynote? Did you get time to watch it? I mean, I had to tune in from work, but I did watch all of it. And It was polarizing. And if you are in the market and you feel that the Mac Pro is the power that you need, the MacBook Pro is the power that you need, then by all means, it's a good time to buy. The 14-inch is actually even dropped in price. And that was a huge thing because, I mean, it's a couple $100 less than the previous versions. And you're getting a much faster chip. Definitely a bargain. The 16-inch version is staying at the same price point. I'm a little bit torn with this event because, you know, watching this event and watching all the claims that Apple's been making on their silicon is wonderful to see, but I can't help but think about their strategy and about the reason why they are continuing to push this boundary. Now, part of this is obvious, right? You want to create newer, faster computers to do more work quicker because time is the ultimate currency. I mean, you can't put a price on it. So things that save you time are theoretically invaluable. So it's great to see Apple making the 3 nanometer process, which increases the density of transistors on its performance cores, its high efficiency cores, its GPU cores. But I think that everyone who wants to go out and buy one of these devices, as cool as they are, I get it, should, at least for a moment, think about what they're buying their computer for. Because what I see in the Apple ecosystem is that, you know, Apple makes computers that are more for people who are artistic, designers, photographers, videographers, people in that genre of their career. But it's also aimed at maybe people who are doing complex science work, human genome projects, huge database management. I get it. But Apple needs, in my opinion, to push software a little too. And I think in the past that the hardware used to want to catch up to the software because software used to run slower because it was demanding. And I think that, and you see this with the iPad model, the M1 or the M2 iPad models, you see the same situation. The power is there, but how are we making use of that power today? And, you know, the Apple event announced the 3 nanometer process, which allows for the ability to do dynamic caching as well as ray tracing, which they also announced on the newest iPhone 15 Pro Max. And those are great things. But if the software isn't there for that, if the software isn't there for gaming, you're buying a highly spec'd out machine that you likely won't be utilizing the things that it advertises. And that's sad. That's sad. And it bothers me. And I hope, you know, when we watch the old Apple event that talked about converting PC games to the Mac, I was hoping that, you know, we're starting to see the push of gaming, and things like games are the things that are going to really take advantage of a high-spec machine. And right now, Apple doesn't do gaming. And they're trying. I mean, they just released Resident Evil for the Mac and for the iPhone. But I think we really need to see more innovation in the Mac gaming space because most of us aren't videographers. Most of us aren't graphic artists. Most of us aren't photographers. Most of us aren't scientists working on big databases or huge amounts of data that require this amount of computing power. And I love power. And I buy a bunch of crap I don't need. I do. And check out my video on my office. There's a whole bunch of crap I don't technically need in it. And it's a hobby and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. But it kind of makes me sad at times to see these really cool devices put into use. And I'm not really going to be taking advantage of the power. And I make videos, right? And I do graphic art. So I, to a degree, make use of this stuff. But I still want to see more software push into the space that will allow us to really use these computers for the behemoth, powerful machines that they are. And hopefully that'll be happening soon. And I do have a hint of hope and optimism. I do see that, you know, and it's the same argument here for devices like the new Apple VR headset. That headset is going to require a killer app. And it's not going to be watching 3D videos, at least in my opinion. It's not going to be watching, doing a virtual desktop. It's not going to be doing a FaceTime call. It's not going to even be watching a movie. It's going to be interactive experiences that you can't get without wearing it. And that's where games and entertainment software comes into play. That is so necessary for these devices to be used to its potential and to also drive sales. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. Feel free to follow me on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or X, Instagram, and the like, and drop a comment below and tell me, did you go ahead and bite the bullet and pre-order your new MacBook Pro or iMac? Let me know. And if you have a use case scenario that I'm not thinking of, please let me know that as well. Have a good one, guys. See you soon.